The Hindenburg Disaster, the 6th of May, 1937. The airship Hindenburg burst into flames, crashing to the ground at Lakehurst, New Jersey, as it attempted to land. The newsreel footage and the commentary by radio broadcaster Herb Morrison shocked the world. Over the years, there have been a number of conspiracy theories concerning how the giant airship ignited and burnt to the ground, killing 35 people on board and one of the ground crew. The disaster heralded the decline of airship travel due to safety concerns, coupled with the increasing use of aeroplanes. The Hindenburg story starts before May the 6th and the events at Lakehurst Airfield. It was built in Friedrichshafen, Germany, and was one of the largest airships ever made. Construction started in 1931, when airship travel had become popular and fashionable. It was named the Hindenburg to commemorate a former German president, but it began life as airship LZ-129. The airship was over 800 feet long and had a diameter of 135 feet. It could be filled with over 200,000 cubic feet of gas to give it the necessary lift to fly. It could cruise at 75 miles per hour, and it needed a flight crew of 40, as well as a support crew of stewards and cooks. It was powered by 4 large diesel engines, and at the time of the disaster it had 72 sleeping berths, and it completed its first flight on March the 4th, 1936. The Hindenburg had a fully operational kitchen, a gallery with large windows, and it even boasted a smoking lounge that was kept under pressure to minimize fire risks. Passengers could enjoy fine dining during their journey across the Atlantic with all the luxuries of a 5-star hotel. The Hindenburg flew under the swastika flag and was nearly renamed Hitler after the German leader, and over the course of 1936 and 1937 it made 17 round trips across the ocean, transporting a total of over 2,600 people. The events of May the 6th, 1937 shocked the world by the speed with which the disaster unfolded and the film and pictures that captured the tragedy in detail. The Morrison commentary immortalized by the phrase, "Oh, the humanity." The Hindenburg was filled with flammable hydrogen gas to give the necessary lift to the airship. This was considered to be safe due to the design of the ship, although helium would have been the preferred gas to use, but at that time the United States had put an export embargo on helium, making it economically unfeasible for German airships to use. The use of hydrogen was a key factor in the Hindenburg bursting into flames that fateful day in 1937. Evidence shows that hydrogen was leaking from a faulty gas valve, and all that was needed was an ignition source for it to burn. While it wasn't clearly understood at the time, the ignition source came from static electricity due to atmospheric conditions, for the Hindenburg was attempting to land when a thunderstorm was nearby. As the Hindenburg approached Lakehurst Airfield in the early evening, static had built up over the body of the airship. As it came near its mooring, ropes were dropped to the ground and the ground crew ran to secure and safely tether the Hindenburg. The ropes then effectively earthed the airship, producing a spark that ignited the leaking hydrogen. There were 3 explosions that ripped and tore through the Hindenburg's body as it was still 400 feet above the ground. The flames engulfed the whole of the frame. Its tail dropped and it crashed to the ground, all in under a minute. There was an investigation as to what caused the disaster, and many people suspected foul play. Theories included that a bomb had been detonated on board, causing the explosions, or that the airship had been deliberately sabotaged in some way, but no evidence was ever found to support these ideas. Here, the chilling images with the distressing commentary of Herb Morrison capture the whole tragedy and the scale of the disaster. These images were relayed around the world and remain iconic for the speed with which the Hindenburg met its fate.
It's starting to rain again. The rain had slacked up a little bit. The back motors of the ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from... It bursts into flames. Get it started. It's fighting, and it's crashing. It's crashing terrible. Oh, my, get out of the way, please. It's bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring pads and all the folks between it. This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's like 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the frame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the furniture speeding around it. I told you, I can't talk to people. There's friends around there. I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. Honest, it's just laying there, massive smoking wreckage. And everybody can't hardly breathe and talk and screaming. Lady, I'm sorry. Honestly, I can hardly breathe. I'm going to step inside while I cannot see it. Charlie, that's terrible. Listen, folks, I'm going to have to stop for a minute because I've lost the voice. This is the worst thing I've ever witnessed.